I'm Sanja, and this is my life abroad. I've been thinking a lot lately about how life in Canada was always on repeat. Each season brought with it a set of activities and to-do lists, especially around the holidays or back to school, which often left very little time for self-care or in the moment living. For me, finding time or the will just to read a good book was nearly impossible. Life here in Sharm is much slower, but it has taken me time to get accustomed to this way of living, as I spent a better part of 30 years or so in Canada, where I had to schedule appointments to meet with friends 1 or 2 months in advance, especially later on in life where we all got married or had careers, had kids. Things just got too busy and too hectic for everyone. Don't get me wrong, people are busy here too, as are we, especially with running our own business, but I don't know if it's because everyone's just pumped full of vitamin D because of the sunshine here, or because, you get to be around cute furry creatures all the time.
Hi, Sharpie. How are you? Hi.
Somehow the mood here is just a bit lighter, and it also helps that the cost of living is much lower and people just generally are way more relaxed. Being here has taught me to slow down and just be a little bit more mindful in day-to-day life and really enjoy simple things like giving Sandy a belly rub. As the last few weeks of summer holidays were nearing their end, we took advantage of many lazy pool days with our kids, just enjoying good food and focusing on self-care a lot more than I used to in Canada. I dealt with a lot of stress and anxiety, especially near the end before we moved, which is why it was super important for me to make it a personal goal to focus on self-care and reducing stress, especially if we're going to move across the world. It has to be for something more than just the nice climate. One of the benefits of living in Sharm is that the cost of living is much lower than it was in Canada. So things like getting your hair done, a wax, laser treatment, manicure, pedicure, facial, all that good stuff is a fraction of what it used to cost in Canada, which means that I get to do it more often and not feel guilty about it. Let me tell you something I'm not guilty about: eating this homemade mango ice cream. It is insanely easy to make, and though I don't really plan to share many recipes on here, I am going to tell you to do this. Freeze up some mangoes, throw them in a blender, food processor, add in whatever milk you like. I used coconut in this case. Add some yogurt, Greek is great, a little bit of vanilla, and buzz that all up. Buzz, is that the word?
So good.
Mix. Blend, put it all together, and it comes out so creamy. I don't do measurements, so I can't really tell you how much to put of anything, but I know that it is a definite hit in our house. And since mangoes are really good here in the summer, we tend to freeze a lot, and then we have this ice cream whenever we feel like it. Another advantage of living in Egypt is that the cost of fruits and veggies is very low compared to what it was in Canada. We can buy local, fresh produce at a fraction of the cost, and it's always available. Those summer months are not that great for leafy greens. We do get great peppers and zucchini and tomatoes and cucumbers kind of all year round, and we can go to local butcher shops and chicken shops and get our fresh meat like that as well too, which makes it really easy to live a healthy lifestyle and eat healthy, which we did in Canada too. It just cost us a lot more. And then we're also baking cookies, and we tend to do a lot of things with the kids, even if it's just a at-home chill kind of day. We try to do a lot of stuff that isn't connected to a computer or a screen or a device. So the kids like to play chess, sometimes with Sandy. Sandy likes to play chess, or maybe Sandy doesn't like to play chess, I don't know. Sandy likes the interruption of playing chess. We hang out, we play card games, board games, sometimes we do art. We do sometimes watch TV, but even play video games with the kids. My husband and I do like video games, but we really do try and get that break and just do fun activities with one another, especially on a weekend, especially at the end of summer before we know school is about to begin. We do enjoy watching movies though, but this particular weekend when I was filming, actually our internet was down, and it was down for a few days, which kind of made us feel like maybe we were stepping back into time, like we had no choice. So this is what life used to be like, back in time. Okay, back to present day and to my self-care week. Went to do my hair, contemplated on the way there, do I want to go lighter, do I want to go darker, do I want some low lights? But really, it doesn't really matter in Sharm because I haven't really found anyone who can do exactly what I want. In Cairo, it's a bit different, more choices, better products, but I can't really complain. Highlights, cut, wash, dry, style, and all that, $40, so I'm happy. Time to take this new hair for a spin, but first I stop at a local sporting goods store to get some ballet slippers for my daughter who's starting a dance class soon. We ended our weekend with a trip to the mall. Although this mall's not that huge, it doesn't have very many brands, if any actually, compared to some of the really big, incredible malls in Cairo. It is quite quaint and you can get most of what you need. And Cairo is about a 5-hour drive away if we ever do need to go shopping for anything that isn't available here, or it's about like an hour and something flight, maximum 2 hours, let's say. But we're quite happy with what we have here. We're not big shoppers anyway, so whatever we find here, we tend to be good with it. So just enjoying the beautiful views around the mall and spending the night out, which is really inexpensive here. I'm going to watch a show, have a coffee or some juice or milkshakes for the kids. It's really nothing. It's like less than $10 for the 4 of us. So this is another reason why being here is supportive of having a lively social life, a life that is quite easy to have outside of the home. All right, we had our fun. Weekend is done. We're back to the grind. Now, before people come at me and tell me that, well, you know, the salaries are really low in Egypt, we don't earn an Egyptian salary. We work online and bring in a foreign income, which makes a huge difference for us here as the cost of living is so low. However, we still do have quite a bit of Canadian debt, unfortunately, which is why we have to continue grinding and grinding just in a nicer environment. Another way that being here helps us with our self-care is that for our children, after school activities are quite inexpensive, especially compared to Canada. It's like $30 a month for my daughter to have 12 dance classes, which cost over $300 in Canada and only for 8 classes. Overall, moving here has allowed us to spend less, do more, and focus on the things that matter with way less stress. If you're interested in hearing more, I hope you do subscribe. I plan to share a lot more content, not only on our lifestyle here, but also why we left Canada and why specifically Egypt.